My name is Stephanie Sydoriak, and I'd like to read you a little excerpt from my book, An Ocean Between. Just before World War I, my parents were living in Western Ukraine, then under Austro-Hungarian rule. My father had just been called up again to serve in the Austrian army a second time. He had decided to go AWOL to America. As he told his story to me, I knew I was taking a big risk, but what could I do? And how was I going to tell Mama that I was leaving her and baby Hanya and going to America? How could I tell her that deserting the army meant that I could never come back to our beloved Kosovo as long as Austria was in power? I knew she would hate living in America without her family and her friends, and where she didn't know the language or the customs. How could I ask her to follow me? I was in such a terrible state. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. As Mama told her story to me, her eyes were full of pain. One minute he was there, holding me, and next minute he was on the train and gone. I cried and I cried. Every day I cried, even though I knew it was no use to cry. Nothing was going to change. When Hanya's first birthday came, Tatu sent the steamship tickets, and I threw them into my big chest. I didn't even want to look at them. Letter after letter he begged me to come, even though winter was a bad time to be traveling. When I thought of getting on a big boat and crossing the ocean, which I had never even seen, I was so frightened that I felt faint and had to sit down. And so the winter passed. Hanya was beginning to say a few words. She was beginning to walk, and Tata wasn't there to see it. The winter was dying. I couldn't bear to think it was the last Kosovo winter I would ever see. Then one day, in the middle of March of 1914, the priest came to my house. He asked me what I was going to do. I told him that Hanya was so small that I was afraid of crossing the ocean with her. I didn't want to leave my mama, my family, my friends, but I had told him all that before. He just looked at me and said, "You know, Marina, there are painted women in America, bad women, just waiting for lonesome men without their wives. Hilko will be badly tempted there without you, tempted more than you as a woman can imagine. If he falls into sin, it will be upon your soul that the sin will rest." So what could I do? Should I condemn myself to burn in hell? I think the devil in my soul went round and round for a few days before I could bring myself to tell my half-brother, Dmitro, to get my papers ready so I could go to America.